Good morning and welcome to a new video. Just come out this morning, it's like 7:15 or something like that. I'm using my lawn level rake to get the dew off the lawn. I want to apply a granular fertilizer this morning, and this is something that you can do if you want to get a mow done, or if you are going to fertilize or something like this, you know, mid-morning or later in the day when it is autumn and the grass can stay a bit dewy for a bit longer. Come out, knock the dew off with a lawn level rake or a broom or something like that is a good option. Anyway, I'm going to get this done and then probably catch you in a few hours when I'm spreading some fertilizer. The gum boots here are absolutely essential, by the way. On the weekend, came out in just my normal running shoes. I was like, I can't be bothered, she'll be right. Socks, shoes, absolutely soaked. So these are essential. Anyway, see you later on. And we're back in business. So yeah, something that is really good to do is get the dew off like that, like I did this morning. I think one of the main benefits is knocking down that dew so that you can get more photosynthesis from the sun onto the actual leaf of the lawn to help that, especially when it's colder, especially when there's not as much sun through winter. To get out and do that is a really good option, as well as get a cleaner cut when you do give it a mow. So this morning, to do my 500 square meters out back, 180 out the front, it took me, including recording those clips, about 20 minutes start to finish. So it's definitely not something I'm going to do every single day. Look, if I was living in a smaller suburban place and I had a little, you know, 30-40 square meter patch like lots of people who are watching this might have, that's probably a situation where I would be a lot more like, you know what, each morning I'm gonna, before work, quickly run the rake over it. It's gonna take a couple of minutes, you know, as a dedication thing to having a better lawn. But yeah, for me, I'm gonna really try to do it when I'm applying products, as well as any days where I'm wanting to get a mow done. So on those days is when I'll try to come out when I did earlier, around breakfast time, before the kids are awake or whatever the situation is, and try to get the rake across it to clean it up. Now for today, I was going to be applying a granular fertilizer, and granular fertilizers, working with them can be really annoying if you let it and you rely on the weather. As you can see here, the sky's looking a little bit bleak, and only an hour and a half ago or something, when I was at home and I just finished sanding the deck, I went and hired a sander from Kennards this morning. I sanded it, and then I was thinking, all right, what am I going to do? Am I going to record this? I'm going to put out the fertilizer, or am I going to return the sander, go to another shop that I had to go to, and then come back and record this? I looked at the radar. There was like little bits of stuff that didn't look like it was coming to us. And then I started driving, of course, started getting little drops on the windscreen. I got to where I needed to go and looked at the radar, and out of nowhere, sort of, this big system had formed. We've had 2 mil of rain. It's really wet. Well, yeah, 2 mil of rain's not heaps, but enough to sort of ruin my plans of fertilizing today, because if it was 30 degrees, it'd be dry in an hour, but unfortunately, it's about 17 or something like that. So there sort of goes my plan for today. So you want to always read the label for any product you are using, whether it's a herbicide, a fertilizer, anything, to make sure that you are going to get the best results with it. But for pretty much all granular fertilizers, you are going to be finding in the instructions that it's asking you to apply to dry ground and then water it in afterwards. What I'm using today is Lawn Tips Proliferate fertilizer, and it was something in terms of you know, planning ahead for this video and what I was going to talk about and what I wanted to say is something that, you know, I find whenever I'm going to apply granular fertilizer or something and I'm planning ahead and I think, okay, I'm going to apply it on that day because we're meant to get a certain amount of rain. Very very infrequently is it that the rain actually cooperates and we get what we're supposed to get. And so my advice would be, it's fine to plan for the rain. It's fine to go, yep, Thursday afternoon it's going to rain, so I'll apply this Thursday lunchtime and the rain can water it in. But always have your sprinklers ready to apply more water if needed, because you might be meant to get, you know, a decent amount of rain. You only get a light sprinkle, turn your sprinklers on. But yeah, it's kind of one of those things that feels like where when you plan for it, you know, you'll get the rain that you needed, but if you get caught off guard a little bit, then you probably won't get the rain you need. So anyway, there we go. It's just started to rain again. So this Proliferate, geez, I hope that rain isn't going to affect the audio too much, but the rate here is 1 to 3 kilos per 100 meters squared. There's no way you're going to be able to hear me here. No way. Anyway, just in case you can. But what I'm going to do is put in a rate of about 2 kilos per 100 meters squared. This is going to be my last granular application until next spring. So I'm going to do it a decent amount right in the middle of that range. So I need 10 kilos for my back lawn. I need 3.6 kilos for the front lawn. So I'm going to measure those out into my walk behind spreader. I'm just going to measure those out into the 2 different spreaders so that they are ready to go, and I'm going to come out tomorrow and spread them. My scales here are going to drop out at around about 5 kilos or so. So here's what I'm going to do with that. All right, you can see it's doing that little error message thing, but before it stopped, it was at around about 5 kilos. So then on the bucket, that's about 4.5 litres. It says on the side here the numbers, which you can't see on camera, but it's about 4.5 litres of this bucket is like 5 kilos of fertilizer. So I'm just going to do it by volume of that bucket. I tried to explain something similar to that last video, and I don't know how effective it was, but anyway. I'm going to fill these up, and then just to be safe, I'm going to put them up onto the workbench here. I'm also going to cover over the top of them. It's not like a dust storm or anything's going to come through here and fill up those spreaders or anything. You don't want to leave it out for extended periods of time. In this case, and I think it's a smart thing to do in certain situations, where if you've got a time like this where it's like, all right, it's raining today, I can't do it today, but I'm going to get it organized, ready for tomorrow, so that I can just walk into the shed, grab it, it's measured, bang, and just put it straight out, and that's going to help you be efficient with it and actually get it done. That's a good thing. So yeah, I'm going to measure these out, put them up on the bench so the kids can't get to them or anything like that over the next 24 hours, even though they're not home and they're not going to be coming out here tonight. So, you know, it'll be fine, but just in case. And then tomorrow I'm going to get this out. Hopefully, because it's meant to be a bit of rain in the morning. So hopefully we'll see if things dry out tomorrow afternoon. I'll be able to get this out. But yeah, that's the plan. It's now 3 days later. In the end, 2 days ago, we had rain through the morning. Through the day, we were having some sunny breaks, some little showers. I was almost going to put out the fertilizer, but then with the soggy ground and everything, I didn't want to do that. Tonight, we're supposed to get a lot of rain, and over the weekend, we're supposed to get a lot of rain. So right now, it is 1:30 when I record this. I think what I'm going to do is around 4 o'clock, I'm going to check the radar. Right now, there's a little bit of rain out to the west of the city, which, you know, yeah, around 4 o'clock, I'm going to check. So if the rain is definitely coming, it's on the way, then I will spread my fertilizer, and you'll be seeing some clips overlaid right now. If you're still watching me at this second, I haven't done that. If it doesn't rain and I do put the fertilizer out, then I'll probably put out my sprinklers tomorrow morning just to make absolutely sure. But yeah, I'm pretty confident, you know, that fertilizer will be okay to sit there. The rain is supposed to come around dinner time tonight, and as long as I check the radar and there is a huge system of rain pumping towards us, then the fertilizer will go out. But once again, I don't want it sitting there overnight without getting rain, really. So, you know, I'd want to be pretty confident that the rain is going to come, and that's something that you need to manage. So with all of this, what we're trying to avoid is fertilizer burn. If you get it wrong with a granular fertilizer, the risk is that you get a fertilizer burn, and at this time of year, it's a horrible time of year to get a fertilizer burn because the lawn's not going to repair itself. If you do it when in the prime growing season, it'll repair in a few weeks. If you do it now, it's going to really struggle to come back. When I mowed this today, how good are the single double diamonds looking, by the way? But when I mowed this today, the amount of clippings I got off is probably the amount of clippings I would have got off after 1 day in the peak growing season, and this was 5 days between mows. So anyway, you want to avoid fertilizer burn, and that's what can happen if you put it on the grass when it is wet, or if you don't water it in. If you were to just put out granular fertilizer on a 30-degree day in the middle of the day and no water gets on it for the next 3 days, well, you're going to get fertilizer burn. So you want to always water it in, put it on dry ground, water it in straight away, unless the instructions say otherwise, but it's not often that that will be the case. And the last point to cover off today, why is this my last granular application for about 4 months, four and a bit months? The reason is, I spoke to Ben from Lawn Tips about this because, you know, it's one of those things with lawn care that I'd never really gotten a super clear answer. I know people do it and that's the advice people give, but why? Now, granular fertilizers, they need a certain level of warmth for them to be able to break down and to do their job in the soil. We've still got enough time to get granulars out now. This is the start of May for me in Victoria. And so it's still okay to get granulars out now. But if you apply a granular fertilizer in the middle of July when it's freezing cold, soil temps are down, the lawn's barely growing, it's just gonna sit there and it's not going to release, and it's not gonna do its job until sort of springtime comes. It's got to do with the root system actually being able to uptake the nutrients and to actually get bang for your buck with the fertilizer. You put it out, you water it in, and you get it start to break down and to work within a couple of days, rather than if you apply it when it's super wet and cold and it's not going to work. Or at best, it's going to sit in the soil and it's going to wait there until the temperatures increase, and then it will start to break down. And along with that, it is just really, really hard to apply granulars in winter, because often you wake up and the ground is, you know, wet and soggy and it's dewy, and, you know, the temperatures throughout the day, even if you come out with the rake like I did at the start of the video, it can just be really soggy and damp all day. So to find the right day when there's enough wind and enough sun to actually dry out your lawn enough to get a granular fertilizer out, just really, really hard to do. So that's another reason why sticking to liquids just makes your life so much easier in winter, and it's more effective. So I'm feeling pretty good, pretty confident about getting the fertilizer out today. I reckon I will. I reckon you have just been watching me do it. And yeah, that herbicide I applied out here a couple of weeks ago, there's barely any of that stringy grassy weed out here anymore, which is fantastic. I need to get bow and arrow out here soon to kill some of the other weeds out of here. But overall, it is looking really, really nice. It's going to keep looking nice. And plenty more content coming your way throughout the winter. I never know how to sign off videos. I just fumble around and kind of talk about what's in front of me, and anyway, you know what to do. Subscribe if you want to, and like the video. Probably helps somehow. And I'll see you in the next one.